Okay, hi Alexander. Let's take a look at what you did in this set. We've got the rainfall in the UK, so let's see what you said there. The line graph compares the level of rainfall during the year in England, Scotland, and Wales. Overall, it can be seen that in each country, the amount of precipitation fluctuated. Also, we can notice that average rainfall in England is the highest, while in Wales there was the biggest number of months when rainfall was less than 50 ml. All right, that's good. That's a nice overview. I don't love the fact that you included data here. Typically, we try to avoid putting data in the overview because it's really easy to get into this thing where it's more like a detailed paragraph and not an overview. So if it was me, I would have just stopped here and I wouldn't have mentioned anything about Wales. Okay. So you could have just said, also we can notice that average rainfall in England is the highest, full stop, and then you're done. All right. So let's move on. As regards England in detail, singular, not plural, we could see that there were not sharp differences, not LY, in the amount of precipitation. The level of rainfall fluctuated around 100 ml. The smallest rainfall amount was in June. By contrast, the biggest amount was in July and September. Okay, now, I'm glad that you talked about the high. I'm glad that you talked about the low, but I think there was still more information that you should have given us here and a little more detail. So we were talking about England now, right? Okay, so if this were me, it's a year, right? And so what this year is really telling you is it's telling you a story. It's telling you the story of rain in 2018 in the UK. So when you want to know a story, there are certain points in that story that you should know about, right? In order to make it make sense. You want to know the beginning, you want to know the end, and you want to know some of those high and low points in the story. So for England, for me, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Because you don't just have one peak here, you have 3 peaks. So I would have talked about all 3 of them. So those are the data points I would have talked about. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I also would have said, you said that it fluctuated around 100. Well, yeah, but I mean, that's really rather vague. So, I mean, fluctuating around 100 could be here and here, and then that's it. So you should have given these points the data, all right? So nice, but right, a little lacking detail. So definitely not a very well extended paragraph about England. Let's move on about Scotland. In Scotland, there was really sharp, again, no ly here, because you're describing a noun. And since you're describing a noun, it needs to be an adjective form. So there was really sharp fluctuation. And I'm not really crazy about the word sharp too, because you just used it here. So there was really steep, I don't know if you can say steep fluctuation. There was great fluctuation, or there was considerable fluctuation from January to April. In this period, there was the minimum level, 20, and the highest level of rainfall. Yeah, but you don't tell us when. Afterwards, differences became more slight. Again, you need an adjective here, but still noticeable. All right, I'm really missing a lot of information here. All I know about is that there's a low of 20, a high of 140, and I have absolutely no other information about Scotland. Okay, however, there are some points that are really, really important. Let's talk about them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Why? Because you've got the starting point, you've got your low, you've got 2 peaks, 1 and 2, okay, and then the end. So those are the points that were important to mention here. And unfortunately, you only mentioned 2 pieces of data. You didn't even tell us which months they were in. Okay, you just said, it's in this period of January to April. You really need to be a little more specific here. Okay? And it wouldn't have really changed your word count considerably. It was just, it would have just given a little extra detail. So let's read about Wales now. In Wales, there was wild fluctuation during the whole year. Their smallest rainfall amount was marked in April. Okay, tell me where. What's the score? What is it there? What's the score? Did I say that? What's the amount? What's the ML amount here? Okay, the smallest rainfall amount was marked in April at whatever, while the biggest amount was noticed in July. from August to October, rainfall kept stable on the level about 840. Okay, fine. So again, in Wales, you're only giving us one piece of data. That's it. All right, and it's really not enough. So in Wales, here's what's important. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, those are the really important pieces here. So as you can see, you've got 36 pieces of data, but in the end, you only have to mention 15 of them. And it's easy to be done. Believe me, it can be done, and you don't have to go crazy with like a word count either. But I definitely feel like you under described this. Okay, like there just was not enough detail. And so that would, while the rest of it was very nice, it would definitely lower your task achievement score to not one of those really top 3 scores. Not bad, not like a low score, but probably not the kind of score you're hoping to get. Okay, so keep that in mind. And then let's take a look at your task 2 about fathers staying home to take care of children. Okay, let's take a look. Experts throughout both the developing and developed countries have debated about the fact that nowadays more and more males look after their children. Full stop here. Some believe that it is a bad trend because traditionally taking, ing, care of children is women's obligations. However, personally I strongly disagree. This essay will discuss both sides using examples from recent Russian government research to demonstrate points and prove arguments. Okay. Now, this essay is something we call a 2-question essay. And you can see that's got 2 questions here. So, what could the reasons be for this? And is it positive or negative? You took this, according to your introduction at least, a little bit differently. So it's like as if you want to make it a discuss both views and give your opinion essay. But that's not what this is. So you don't need to discuss the opposite point of view. You simply need to do exactly what the questions tell you. So in one paragraph, talk about the reasons why more fathers are staying home. And in the other paragraph, if this is positive or negative. All right, you told us that you think it's positive, so great. But you do need to spend a paragraph talking about why more fathers are staying home with their children. So reading your introduction, it's a red flag to me because I'm thinking, this test taker is not going to answer the questions that were asked. If you answer just this question and do it like to discuss both views and give your opinion essay, then it's going to absolutely lower your marks for task achievement because it's as if you haven't really talked about this. Okay, let's see what you did. On the one hand, there is ample evidence that mothers look after children better than fathers. Yeah, you see, we don't need this in the paragraph. You've already told us that you disagree with this, and so this automatically feels like it's off topic. Okay, let's see. The main point why women do it better is hormones. During the pregnancy and afterwards, there are more hormones in a body than usually. It affects women's brain and their emotions to love her baby. These factors prove the idea that women take care of children better. Therefore, in fact, that fathers look after children is a negative trend. That's a little awkward. All right. Now, besides the fact that this is off topic, it's not appropriate to the development of this, it has a couple of other problems too. The language is all really absolute. Okay, so you're absolutely overgeneralizing a lot of this. You're saying that the reason why they do better is hormones. You say there are more hormones in a body. Women take care of children better. So yeah, you don't want to use a kind of language where it's just very absolute and you want to say things like, studies have shown that women may take care of children better because of certain parental hormones that fathers typically do not have. So you don't want to be absolute. All right, you always want to have this kind of room for error, if you will. Or not to say that something you're saying applies to absolutely everybody and everything. So that's one thing. But as I said, this paragraph was not what you wanted here. You want to talk about why fathers are staying home more. Let's see. There are some, on the other hand, there are some positive ideas in case men take care of children. I don't really like this in case men take care of children. Let's change it. So on the other hand, there are some positive effects of men taking care of children. The first one is that mothers have an opportunity not to stop their job for a long time, and they will be able to make a good career. Okay, mothers have an opportunity to continue their job, allowing them to develop a good career or a strong career or a prominent career or something rather than good. I'm never a fan of good. An extensive study by the Russian government showed that almost with the 80% of young women do not want to spend a lot of time taking care of children because they worry about their career. 60%, you don't start a sentence with a number. It has to be written out as a word. So 60% said they are not ready to have children because they are afraid of losing career opportunities. So this should be singular, and then there should be plural opportunities, IES. Okay, so great, you're talking about the woman and how she wants to work and how she's concerned about her career. But what about the father? What are the benefits to the father of being home to raise the child? What are the benefits to the child of being home with a father rather than a mother? Okay, so I thought this was a little not really developed in terms of the breadth and scope of ideas. I think you could have done a little more with this, okay? We already talked about this paragraph and why it was problematic, so I'm not going to go into that again. Let's take a look at your conclusion. Given the examples and arguments above, I firmly believe that the new trend where, not really leave it as when fathers spend time with their children to look after them is a good way. This is awkward. You don't say is a good way. So let's try it one more time. I firmly believe that the new trend of fathers as the primary caregiver is a positive one. In my opinion, it helps parents to have a balance between work and life and gives more opportunities to make a career for women. However, there is not the same approach for everybody, and each family has to take a decision individually. Okay, I would have just changed this a little bit. However, there is not the same approach. This could have been phrased a little differently. So, however, this may not be a solution for everyone, so each family has to take this decision individually. Would have been maybe a little better. Okay, so a nice effort here, but there were some issues as we've already talked about. I hope you understand after this video correction how you have to treat these 2-question essays, okay? Really, they make your life rather easy because essentially it's just, answer this in one paragraph and then answer this in the other paragraph, okay? So go ahead and correct these. Let's see them corrected, and let's see another set of essays from you, okay? Good luck.